Good morning, children. In the previous lecture, we have studied about the kingdom Plantae, and now in this video, we are going to study about kingdom Animalia. So, Animalia consists of all sorts of animals. Animals have wall-less eukaryotic cell, means they do not have the cell wall. They are heterotrophic, means they depend on others for the food. Growth of animals is limited and stops after reaching maturity. So, this animal kingdom has a huge classification, and this classification has some basis. The first basis of classification is symmetry. The first type is bilateral symmetry. That is, the organism is divided into two equal parts. That is, the right side and the left side. Next is a radial symmetry. You can see here the radial symmetry, correct? It is circle. It is when the organism is equally spaced around the central point like spokes on a bicycle wheel. Again, we can take the example of bicycle wheel, which has the spokes in the concentrated in the center. Second basis is of germ layers. The germ layers, that is germ cells, means which are present at the embryonic stage. There are three types of germ layers: ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Ecto means outside and derma means skin. That is ectoderm, outermost layer, and it forms the nails, hair, epidermis, etc. Second germ layer is endoderm. It is the innermost layer which forms the stomach, colon, urinary bladder, etc. And the third germ layer is mesoderm. Meso means middle. It is a middle layer between the ectoderm and endoderm, and it forms all sorts of bones, cartilage, etc. Okay, so these three types are there. And now, according to the number of layers, there are again two types: diploblastic and triploblastic. Diploblastic consists of two embryonic germ layers, that is only ectoderm and endoderm, while the triploblastic consists of all three germ layers, that is ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Third basis of classification is coelom. Coelom means a body cavity, and this is very important function. You can give the example. Consider our human heart. It has to consider this is a human heart, and now this has to expand and then it has to contract. So it needs the space around it to contract and expand. So this space is given by the coelom. And now on this basis of presence or absence of coelom, there are three types: acoelomates, coelomates and pseudocoelomates. Acoelomates means there is no body cavity. Coelomates means there is a complex organisms having true body cavity. And again these are divided into two types: schizocoelomates and enterocoelomates. Third type is of pseudocoelomate. Pseudo means false coelom. That is, we assume that there is a coelom in it, but in reality there is no such body cavity. We only feel that there is a body cavity over there. You can see the diagram over there. The first diagram is of coelomate, that is a digestive. All these cells are present in our digestive tract. There you can see the white layer, that is coelom is present. Second, that is pseudocoelomate, that is you can see the hollow space there, but in actual there is no such spaces. There are pouches of the muscles over there. And the third is acoelomate, that is there is no such hollow body cavity. And next, fourth basis is notochord, that is it is a rod like structure which runs along the body between nervous tissues and gut, and it provides place for muscles to attach for ease of movement. And on this basis, again the organisms are divided into three types, that is with notochord, without notochord, and there are such animals which have notochord in initial embryonic stages. but when they become adult, they have converted this notochord into the vertebral column. Okay, so we have finished the basis of classification, and now we will turn over towards the various phylums. So first phylum is Porifera. Okay, so Porifera, the Latin word pore, that is porous, or the meaning is pore bearing. You can take the example of cartoon SpongeBob SquarePants. You know the sponge, okay, how he looks. He has the small holes on his body, so you can remember the Porifera as SpongeBob SquarePants, the character of SpongeBob SquarePants. Okay, these animals bear small holes on their body surface. They are aquatic and sedentary. Sedentary means they cannot move from their place. They have cellular body level of organization. That is, it is made up of cells. All the functions to carry out are on cellular level. They bear hard external skeleton and have canal system for distribution of food and gases. As we have vascular system or the circulatory system, this Porifera has the canal system. The examples are Spongilla, Cycon, and all sorts of sponges. Next phylum is Coelenterata. Okay, this is Coelenterata, coelom, that is, it is a Greek word koilos. Koilos means hollow, and enteron means intestine. Hollow intestine. It is hollow body cavity. Again, the word suggests this phylum is dependent on coelom, and the body organization is of tissue level body organization. Okay, so why they are known as Coelenterata? Because they have the presence of coelom in it, and they may be solitary or colonial, like they live singly, like bachelor life, or they can be colonial, like they can have a family too. Now, there is an interesting fact over here that they have special stinging cells called nidoblast, and so because of presence of these nidoblasts, they are also known as nidaria. Okay, so why do they need this nidoblast? Because when the predator attacks on them, so they need some defense mechanism in them to save their life. So these stinging cells are useful for their protection. Examples are Hydra, Obelia, and Physalia. You can see the diagram of Hydra over there. Next phylum is Platyhelminthes. Platy means flat, and helminth means worm. That is, flat worms. They show the bilateral symmetry. They have the triploblastic layer, and then they are dorso-ventrally flattened. The dorso-ventrally means what? This side, upper side is known as dorsal, and the inner side is known as ventral. So these worms are dorso-ventrally flat worms. They are either free living or parasitic. They are tissue level of body design. So organ level, the cellular level is finished, and now they have the tissue level of body design. They do not have any body cavity, that is, they are acoelomate. Examples are Planaria and liver fluids. Next phylum is Nematoda. Okay, so the meaning Greek word is nema. Nemo means thread. Okay, and toda means form, that is thread form or thread like worms. Thread worms. How is the thread? Round. Okay, so they are also known as round worms. They show bilateral symmetry and are triploblastic in nature. They have a cylindrical shape, so they are known as round worms. They have pseudocoelom. Next, the body organization is tissue level of body organization, and they are mostly parasitic in nature. Examples are Ascaris and Buchereria. The diagram is of Ascaris. Next phylum is Annelida. The word is of Latin origin, like annulus. Annulus means ring, and they have the segmented body, and they are also known as ringworms. Show the bilateral symmetry and are triploblastic. They are cylindrical in shape and have true coelom. Organ system level of body design. Now the cellular level is gone, tissue level is gone, and now we have organ system level. Body is divided into small segments called annuli, and so the phylum is known as Annelida. They are found both in land and water. Examples are earthworm and leech. The diagram is of leech. Next phylum you can see is of Arthropoda. The Arthropoda means the arthron. Arthron means jointed and poda means legs. You can see here, consider these are legs. So these two legs or these pairs of legs are jointed in between. Okay, so these are known as jointed appendages. So the phylum is known as Arthropoda. Arthro means jointed and poda means legs. These animals show bilateral symmetry and triploblastic in nature. They have true body cavity and is filled with blood. Organ system level, then they have the open circulatory system, and then again it comes the MCQ type of questions or the fill in the blanks or whatever the question comes upon here. The Arthropoda phylum is the largest group of animals. Please remember, Arthropoda is the largest group of animals and they have jointed legs. Examples: cockroach, housefly, butterfly, etc. At home you can try this. If you find a dead cockroach, just turn it over and see the legs, how it is jointed, and then you can have the idea of what are arthropods. Next phylum you see here is of mollusca. There is a Latin word mollus. Mollus means what? Soft. So all soft bodied organism is known as mollusca, and all these soft bodied organisms are very protective. So to protect them, they are very minute. So they need the protection and they have the shells over them to cover and protect themselves. Body cavity is highly reduced. Animals show bilateral symmetry and triploblastic in nature. They have open circulatory system. They have kidney-like structure for excretion, and they have high muscular foot for the movement. You can observe the snail, how the snail moves like this, correct? So this movement is caused by the muscular foot. You can see the muscular foot in the picture over there. Examples are Pila and Chiton. Next phylum is of Echinodermata. Okay, the Greek word echinos. Echinos means spines and derma means skin. Okay, the skin which have the spines are known as Echinodermata. They are spiny skin organisms, free living animals found only in marine water. They are triploblastic and are coelomates. They have tube system for the purpose of movement. They show high power of regeneration. Okay, so here is an interesting part. You can see the picture of starfish over there, correct? And now you take the starfish and cut off his one arm out of 5. In few days you can see a new arm growing over there. So this property is known as regeneration. Examples are starfish and sea urchin. Next phylum is of Protochordata. So here protose. Protose means first and chordae means chordata. Correct? So protose means very first organism which the organisms at the embryonic stage have the notochord, but after when it develops into the adult stage they have the vertebral column. So therefore they are known as Protochordata, primitive. They are not fully chordate, not fully in the notochord stage. These animals show bilateral symmetry and triploblastic in nature. They are cylindrical in shape and they have a true body cavity. They also have a notochord at any stage of life which provides surface for the attachment of muscles and to provide support. Examples are Amphioxus and Balanoglossus. You can see the picture over there. There is a notochord inside present, but that is only at half stage the notochord is present, and then after it is converted into a vertebral column. Okay, next phylum is of vertebrata, that is they consist of a vertebral column. They can have notochord at any stage. There is a dorsal nerve cord. Dorsal means at the upper level, or where there is a nervous system is present, the side is known as dorsal side. So at the back, we have the nervous system at the back. So this is our dorsal side, and in front we have all the organs. So this side of our face side is known as ventral side. They are triploblastic. They have paired gill pouches. They have true body cavity, and they include, again the classes are included in this phylum, that is Pisces, Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammalia. So we'll turn over to the first class, Pisces. Pisces means fishes. They are exclusively water living animals, and as they live in the water, their skin is covered with the plates and scales, so that they have the friction with the water. They obtain oxygen from the dissolved state which is present in the water using gills. The body is streamlined, that is this type of body. Correct? In the front they have the cone, and at the back also they have the cone, the aeroplane type of figure. Streamlined. They are cold-blooded, and their hearts have only 2 chambers. They lay eggs. Some have skeleton system like rohu and katla, but some are entirely made of cartilages like sharks. Next class we have of Amphibia. Amphibia means what? They live both on the land and water. They have the mucus glands on their skin, and the heart is of 3 chambers. Respiration occurs through gills or lungs. They lay eggs in the water, sometimes on the leaves. The examples are frogs, toads, salamanders. Next class is of Reptilia. These animals are cold-blooded and have scales. Breathe through the lungs. The most of the reptiles have 3-chambered heart, but the exception is of crocodile, which has 4-chambered hearts. They lay eggs with tough coverings and do not need to lay their eggs in water like amphibians. Examples are snakes, turtles, lizards and crocodiles fall in this category. Our next class is of aves. Dear children, I need to note you here that there are some technical issues due to which the class reptile, class reptile notes are over displayed over the class aves. So please ignore this slide. I'll give you the points of aves afterwards, but just refer to the picture of this. Do not read the points of this slide. Okay, there is some technical issue, so it is displaying the points of previous slide. So we can discuss the aves. Aves consist of all the birds, right? They lay eggs, correct? They have feathers, and the body is totally covered with the feathers. They have a typical claw-like structure, the beak-like structure on which they can feed, correct? Next class we have of Mammalia. Mammals are warm-blooded animals with 4-chambered heart. They have mammary glands for the production of milk to nourish their young. Their skin has hairs as well as sweat and oil glands. Like we have sweat glands, and oil glands are known as sebaceous glands. Most mammals familiar to us produce live young ones, that is they do not lay eggs. However, few of them like platypus and okay, you don't need to remember this. Okay, you just remember of platypus. The echidna is not present in us, so I will refer you to remember the platypus. That is, they lay eggs and some like kangaroos give birth to every poorly developed young ones. Okay, so mammalia is based on, that is the animals which have mammary glands and which feed their young ones, and they give direct birth to the young ones are known as mammals, and they come under the class mammalia. So here's the classification of kingdom Animalia. We can summarize it. Animals are divided into two levels, that is cellular level and tissue level. In cellular level, there is only single phylum known as Porifera. Next, tissue level, there are three basis of classification, that is acoelomate, pseudocoelomate and coelomate. Acoelomates consist of Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, and pseudocoelomate have nematoda, and coelomate consist of Annelida, Mollusca, Arthropoda, Echinodermata and Chordata. Next, there are subphylums. In Chordata, there are again two subphylums, Protochordata and Vertebrata. In Protochordata, there are again subdivisions, Urochordate and Cephalochordate. In Vertebrata, there are again classes Pisces, Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammals. In Pisces, again there are two subclasses, Chondrichthyes and Ostrichthyes. Okay, Chondrichthyes means what? That they have jaw. Jaw are present in the fish, and Ostrichthyes there are, that is the bony fish. Okay, Chondrichthyes is boneless fish and Ostrichthyes is a bone fish. Okay, so now we will turn over to the binomial nomenclature. We have learned all the classification of all the kingdoms, that is kingdom Plantae is over, Animalia is over. Okay, so now we have the binomial nomenclature. So who did this binomial nomenclature? Carolus Linnaeus developed a two-word naming system called binomial nomenclature. Each species is given two parts, that is scientific name. And what are the rules to remember this scientific name? The name is written in italics. Okay, the slanting words, all which we see in the textbooks are known, all are written in italics. The first word is capitalized and the second is written in lowercase. The first word is a genus and second one is of species. Okay, so genus is always started with the capital letter, and the species is always starting with the small letter. See the example over here. The binomial nomenclature of modern humans, that is we, are Homo sapien. The genus name is Homo. H is always written in capital letter. The species name is always written in the small letter, that is small s. And Latin word sapiens means wise. A wise man. Correct? So if you cannot write in the italics, there is another method you can write is, you can underline the genus and species. So here are the rules used for the binomial nomenclature. Okay, so let us discuss this binomial nomenclature more. This binomial nomenclature, why to use this binomial nomenclature? Because there are various regions which we can see that every language differs at the 1 kilometer range. Correct? So every organism is named as a variety of name over there. So to delete these various types of names, the worldwide acceptance of names are given to the organisms by this binomial nomenclature. Okay students, here we finish our chapter 7, that is diversity in living organism. If you have any questions, please send it to me personally and I will be glad to answer you. Okay, thank you. I will be sending you the assignment. Thank you.